Hi guys, it's Hugo here from Auto Studio. Okay, so if you're struggling in cold email, this is the process I go through on how to fix and optimize your campaigns. So if you're checking into your cold email campaigns and let's say the numbers aren't looking well, they're looking flat, don't worry, don't go lose your head. Missing the mark is super common, and even the seasoned pros, experience this. Ultimately, if you're approaching a new niche or getting into a new niche, it is always going to take a bit of time for you to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And that's why I always say that is the beauty of cold email, because essentially you can really reverse engineer your success by trial and error. But essentially, as I said, don't lose your head. The important bit is what happens next. And in this video, I'm going to break that down for you. So fixing the script is obviously the obvious one. So your call to action is what drives the email. If it doesn't spark curiosity or make them want to act, chances are, that's where you're going wrong. So you've got to guide people. You want to make it super clear what the next step is. Some people are naturally going to respond better to a softer, more casual approach, while others might prefer something more direct. For example, instead of saying something like, "Are you happy for me to send more info?" Perhaps you could try, "Happy for me to send a video showing how it works," or something like that. And the reason that works is you're giving them something visually and easy to adjust. And what I've found is videos, especially looms, feel personal, like you made it just for them, and more often than not, because you ask them if they can send it, and once they give you a positive response saying yeah, they'd like to receive it, you can then go make it bespoke. And ultimately, they're just super quick to watch, super effective, and they just lead to better replies. What I've found. So the first thing is, when it comes to fixing the script, is adjusting the call to action. Bear with me. So the next bit would be switching up your pitch. So, okay, at the end of the day, everyone in business wants more sales. So, that goes without saying. But I mean, who doesn't? But the thing is, what you've got to be realizing, what you've got to be wary of, you've got to really think about who you're actually pitching to. So a specific role, more sales might not feel like their responsibility or top priority. For example, the C-suite, they're going to be laser focused on driving revenue, and more sales is going to resonate with them. But further down the line in the marketing department, they're going to care more about building a following or increasing engagement. So something like that, something like getting more followers or booking more meetings is going to actually hit home more for them. So basically, if you're going to take anything away from here, is you want to match your pitch to the person's role and what they care about. You're going to stand out by speaking directly to their priorities. And another one could be, this is a little bonus, another thing what I played around with is, if you don't have, and this is particularly for businesses, if you don't have lots of case studies that you can leverage in your sales, is offering some sort of guarantee. So for example, is you only pay for results, or we'll give you 100% money back guarantee if you're not happy after 3 months. But obviously in your small print, you want to be clear what that entails. But one could be, let's say you're an SEO client, you could guarantee them X amount of followings after 3 months, X amount of traffic after 3 months. And if you haven't hit that, you could then offer their money back. That's a good one. But essentially, guarantees are just going to massively reduce the risk and make them think like, oh no, wow, this is really a no-brainer offer. And it just makes them think like, okay, there's no downside here. I might as well give this service a shot. So this is the next one could be boosting personalization. And because I've found personalization has just been a complete game changer for cold email. No one likes, felt like the email they receives has been blasted out to, an Apollo list of 10,000 potential prospects. That's not going to get you replies, and people are just going to mark you as spam. But obviously there's all these tools out here now that you can do really high level personalization, and these tools like Clay being one of them make it really accessible to do that. And I'd honestly recommend exploring how to do that when you're ready. And they can pull insights like follower count, recent reviews or even competitor comparisons. And I would say they really are a game changer in terms of scaling your outreach. But to get started, I'm just going to focus on little clever ways you can make basic personalization feel more impactful. And these don't necessarily require any fancy software. And it's just actually just a little thought and creativity. So low level personalization you could be clever with. So location. So instead of being like, I see you're based in New York, you could try something like New York startup scene is buzzing right now. Are you finding it tricky to stand out? Are you finding it tricky to stand out in such a competitive market? This works because it ties their location to something relevant, showing you've actually put thought into your email. Then the next one, job title. So instead of as a marketing manager, you might be interested in this. Try something like, I've worked with marketing managers like you who are juggling lead gen on a tight budget. Does this sound familiar? So this works because you're aligning your pitch to their day-to-day challenges, not just their title. The next one could be industry. So instead of being, I see you in real estate. By the way, I'm saying like these examples instead of, you'd be so surprised how many emails I go into my spam folder. People have literally just spun up an email and it's like, insert company name here, insert industry name here. So it happens, okay, and it's unbelievably common. So you just don't want to be doing that. So yeah, okay. So instead of I see you in real estate, try with the real estate market booming right now. Imagine managing lead flow can be overwhelming. How's that going for you? So it addresses a trend or pain point specific to that industry. Okay, this is a bonus step. So speaking their language, one overlooked aspect of personalization is using the right tone and terminology for their industry. So when you use the language they're familiar with, you're immediately going to help build credibility. So an example of this could be a law firm. So personalizing relevance. Okay, so I notice your firm specializes in corporate law. Are you finding it challenging to bring in more mid-sized business clients for merger and acquisitions? That's something I can help streamline. Whereas a generic and off-base example of this could be, hey, I see you in the legal industry. Are you looking for more clients for your practice? Like, I don't think I need to highlight like that. There's clearly the first one is going to be way more impactful and you're going to get way more responses by just seeing the compared to the generic one. So as I said, yeah, the first one uses their industry specific term, corporate law, mergers and acquisitions. It feels tailored. Second one is just so broad and feels like a copy and paste job. So whether you're going all in with advanced tools or just focusing on the basics, a little research is going to go a long way, and combine that with the right tone and you're going to be so much more successful when it comes to your campaigns. So tweak the targeting. So sometimes it's not what you're saying, it's who you're saying it to. And if you're not getting responses, it might be time to rethink your targeting. So change up the job titles. So not hearing back from the CEO, that's not unusual. They've obviously got a million and one things on. So instead, try targeting roles that are closer to your problem. So here's how. So for lead gen, so target the head of sales. They're the ones under pressure to hit sales targets and will see immediate value in your offer. Or the head of marketing. They're often focused on creating demand and generating leads. And for operational solutions, try the operational managers. They're going to be the hands-on ones with processes and might be the ones actually searching for tools or strategies that you can provide. And then also just adjusting the company size. When it comes to targeting, the size of a company really does matter, just as much as job titles, and different size businesses operate differently, and understanding their structure is going to massively help tailor outreach. So for instance, smaller companies, 1 to 10 employees, these businesses are lean and decision makers are more accessible because ultimately they are going to be wearing multiple hats, and you might be emailing the owner directly and they're likely appreciate their straightforward results driven approach. And then let's say mid-sized companies, so that's 50 to 100 employees. So ultimately, obviously you're now dealing with more layers. So you want to look for department heads or directors who oversee areas you may be addressing. So example, if you're selling a marketing tool, you should probably be targeting the marketing director or head of growth. And then large companies, 500 plus employees. At this level, the CEO you're going to find is not the right person to target. They're going to be focused on the high level strategy, not the day-to-day issues. So instead, definitely go for more specific roles. So head of demand generation, VP of growth, director of sales, or someone like that. But basically the head of departments. That's going to be way more effective. So, and lastly, so just analyze what's working or not. So let's say you've adjusted your targeting, refined your message, that's great, but how do you know if it's actually working? And that's where analysis comes in, and digging into what's landing and what's not can give you insight that is massively going to improve your results over time. And here's the main things to keep an eye on. So subject lines. So your subject line is the first thing people see, and if your open rate is low, it's a sign you need to work on that. So I'd consider trying to tweak it to grab attention. So, for example, just a quick question about their business name. Loved your work on specific projects and thought, can I show you this? A good subject line is ultimately just going to spark curiosity without feeling clickbaity. Then body length. So most people, just skim emails. They've got hundreds of emails a day that need to be clearing. So if your message is too long, you're going to lose them halfway through. So best practice, actually, I've written 150 here, but actually best practice, I'd be trying to keep it between 50 and 70 at the very, very max, 150. So maybe what you do is, if you've got four emails to A/B test in your sequence, maybe try a 150 long word one, try a 50 word one, try a 70 word one. And then also think about using bullet points or short paragraphs to make it easy to read. Basically, the main goal, and don't lose sight of this, is to deliver quick value and make it effortless for them to say, yes, I'll reply to this. And then timing. So when you send your emails matters more than you think. So best times, morning, so 7 to 9 a.m. tend to perform better because people check their inbox first thing. I've found avoiding Mondays, people are swamped, and Fridays, naturally, people are just checked out. They already think about the weekend. But ultimately, you may find different industries that vary. So again, this is definitely something you should think about testing, but experiment with different days and times to see what gets most engagement. So the key takeaways: the beauty of cold emails, it's just not a spray and pray. It's a skill you can refine and improve. Success doesn't come from luck. It comes from learning where to look and what to tweak. Above all, keep it human. Think about how you would email a colleague. You wouldn't sound robotic. You wouldn't sound overly formal. You'd be clear, conversational, and just focus on adding value or informative. And if you apply that mindset, you're already going to be ahead of most people. So just a key takeaway. So don't panic. Cold emails is trial and error. Even when things don't click, every campaign is an opportunity to learn more and improve. Test and tweak. So experiment with call to actions, personalize your emails, change up your offer and adjust your targeting until something lands. And then follow up is key. So the magic often happens in the follow-up. Don't just stop after one email. People are so busy, and persistent really does pay off. Anyway, that's all from me. If you guys need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out and send me a message, and I'll try and answer your questions where I can. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye for now.